Hi, my name is Eric Lofholm, and welcome to How to Master the Art of Goal Setting. As I'm speaking into this microphone right now, I'm achieving a goal. I set a goal a few years ago to create this audio program. If I had not set the goal, you would not be enjoying this audio program right now. The very principles that are contained in this program are the reason that this program exists. And I want you to know that I'm excited for you. I'm excited for what's about to happen in your life. You are a person of action. A few moments ago, you made a decision to listen to this audio tape or CD. By you making that decision, I already know quite a bit about you. Here are a few things that I know about you. You have a desire to accomplish more in your life. You are willing to pay a price. You take action on your thoughts. You are a person of action. You are willing to get help from others. You have a desire to become a goal-setting master. When you combine those characteristics with the information on this program, powerful things can happen in your life. Let's face it, goal setting works. Goal setting is the most widely endorsed personal development strategy in the world today. I mean, consider some of the people who endorse goal setting. Oprah Winfrey, Michael Jordan, Anthony Robbins, Napoleon Hill, Jerry Rice, the football player. The most successful people in the world all endorse goal setting. Goal setting works. I'm living proof of that. I was like most people years ago. I had heard of goal setting. I had a vague idea of what it was, but I had not yet tapped into the true power of goal setting. When I say power, I mean power. Goal setting has the potential to transform every area of your life. Now that's extremely important. I'm going to say that again. Goal setting has the potential to transform every area of your life. About 10 years ago, I was a cook at McDonald's. I had fallen on some tough times. In fact, at one point in my life, I went through a personal bankruptcy. I had a failed business. There was a time when my marriage had failed. My car was repossessed. And now, with the help of goal setting, I have an amazing, passionate, loving relationship with my wife. I have vibrant health. I own my own successful business. I earn the income of my dreams. I have great relationships with my parents and my family. My present is awesome, and my future is bright. Yes, goal setting is powerful. I have been fascinated by goal setting and the concept of goals for years. As a success coach and sales trainer, I teach goal setting in all of my public seminars. I'm always amazed at how few people set goals. Statistically, only 3% of the population has written goals, and only 1% of the population has written goals with a written action plan. And that's your first clue to becoming a master goal setter. Goals must be written down. And I want to encourage you to purchase a hardbound journal and use that journal through this program. One of the many distinctions that I've learned in my life is this distinction: out of sight, out of mind. The fact that you take notes, the fact that you write down your goals dramatically improves your ability to make those goals and dreams come true. So what I'd like you to do is go through this program with a hardbound journal. It's not enough to intellectually know the importance of goal setting. You must take action. One of the reasons that goal setting is so powerful is because it concentrates your focus. I have learned in my life, you get what you focus on. Please jot that down in your journal. You get what you focus on. The information about goal setting mastery in this program is more valuable than money itself. And here's what I mean. Let's say that we played a game, and here's the game. You're going to offer me a large sum of money. The rules of the game are that by me accepting the money, I'm never allowed to use the information in this program ever again. So you start off by offering me $10,000 cash. You say, Eric, in exchange for the $10,000 cash, you're never allowed to use the information on this goal-setting program ever again in your life. And I respond by saying, well, it's not for sale. I would never give up the opportunity to use this information. You say, well, Eric, everyone has their price. I'll add a zero. How about $100,000 cash? As I shared with you, it's not for sale. Okay, Eric, $1 million cash. Again, it's not for sale. Okay, Eric, I'll add another zero. $10 million cash. And again, it's not for sale. Okay, Eric, here's my final offer. $20 million tax-free in unmarked bills. And again, I would respond that it's not for sale. Now, some of you are thinking, Eric, I would have taken the money back in $1 million. Forget this goal-setting stuff. The reason why I believe that the information contained in this program is more valuable than money itself is because there are many areas of your life that you can set goals in that are priceless. What price could you possibly put on your health? You can use goal setting to dramatically improve your health. You can also set spiritual goals. You can set relationship goals. My wife and I, we have a goal to celebrate our 50-year wedding anniversary. And there's no amount of money that you could ever pay me to take that goal away. Here's what's exciting for me, is knowing that by you listening to these tapes, 7 times through, you can put these ideas into your subconscious. I want to challenge you to listen to this audio program from start to finish 7 times through. And here's why I believe that is a powerful strategy. Maybe you've had this experience. You've been driving in your car and your favorite song comes on the radio, or you're listening to a CD that you really enjoy, and as the song is playing, you begin to sing along with the song. Now, this is, of course, assuming that no one's in the car or nobody next to you is watching you as they're driving by. Some of you, you're not bashful. You'll sing even if somebody's in the car. But think about this. If you've ever had that experience where you have begun to sing along with the song, let me ask you this question. When did you set a goal that you would learn the words to that song? Oh, you never did set a goal. Interesting. When did you go down to Tower Records and purchase the lyrics to that song and then begin to practice the song over and over and over to the point where you learned it? Oh, you never did go down to Tower Records. Well, then the question is, well, how did you learn it? Well, you might think, well, I just did. I just kept listening to the song over and over and over and over again until it just became a part of my subconscious. Now, knowing the words to a song, unless you're a professional singer, it's worthless. I mean, it's enjoyable to sing along with the song, but it won't produce a result for you other than the enjoyment of the moment. But by putting these ideas on this program on Goal Setting Mastery and entering these ideas into your subconscious, it will help you unleash the power of goal setting and allow you to attract into your life what it is that you want. In other words, you can simply learn this information by just listening to the program over and over and over for a minimum of 7 times. And here's what I'd like you to think about. While you're listening to this program, what level are you committed to playing at while you're listening to the program? Here's what I mean by that. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 meaning that you'll listen to the program 7 times through, you'll purchase the hardbound journal, you'll take the notes, you'll do the exercise. If that's a 10, and 1 is you immediately turn off the tape right now and never listen to it ever again, what level are you committed to playing at? Now, before you answer that, I want to encourage you to play at a level 10, because would you agree that you are going to get out of this program what it is that you put into it? For example, if I give you an exercise to do and you don't do the exercise, there's very little value, if any, that you would receive by not participating in the exercise. So I want to encourage you to play at a level 10, to listen to the program 7 times through, to do every written exercise, every instruction that I provide you on this program, and allow yourself to become a goal-setting master. Now, here is what is awesome about you listening to this program. As I'm speaking to you right now, I am a goal-setting master. A man can only teach you what he knows. A woman can only teach you what she knows. I'm going to start off and make a giant claim. With the help of this audio program, I can teach you how to become a goal-setting master. Yes, you. Even if you believe that you're absolutely horrible at goal setting. You say, Eric, I never achieve my goals. I never follow through. Even if you fall into that category, I believe that you can become a goal-setting master. You see, I have trained thousands upon thousands of professionals, these proven goal-setting principles. I consider myself one of the finest goal-setting trainers in the world today. Imagine how your life will be different once you have become a goal-setting master. Goal-setting is a learned skill. Because goal-setting is a learned skill, I believe that becoming a goal-setting master is a choice. Becoming a goal-setting master is a choice. Don't ever forget that phrase. During this program, you will learn how to set goals. Once I've trained you proper goal-setting techniques, I will coach you on the most powerful goal-setting process that exists in the world today. Let me ask you 3 questions. Do you believe that goal-setting is important? Do you have written goals? What is the biggest goal that you've ever set? I'd like to now share with you one of my favorite goal-setting stories. And it's about arguably the world's greatest insurance salesperson ever, by the name of Ben Feldman. And Ben Feldman, years ago, he got into sales after proposing to who became his wife. And his wife said to him, well, Ben, if I accept your proposal of marriage, how do you expect to support me on your $10 a week salary? Ben instantly became motivated to earn more than $10 a week. One of the most powerful aspects of goal setting and goal achievement is having a reason to succeed. Many people set goals and never achieve them. And I believe one of those reasons is they don't have a reason to follow through and take action on the goal. And now Ben was attempting to impress his future wife. He had a reason to earn more than $10 a week. And a friend of his was in insurance sales. And his friend was earning $35 a week, which Ben felt would be a great start to show his future wife his level of commitment to providing her an outstanding quality of life. And so with that, Ben's initial goal was to earn $35 a week in the insurance industry. And he applied for that job. And he was turned down at that job. And then he went and applied at another one. He was turned down there too. He applied at 5 different insurance agencies until finally, through persistence, he got a job. And his first goal was to earn that $35 a week. And he did achieve that goal. And then he increased the goal. He said, well, if I'm earning $35, now maybe perhaps I could earn $50 a week. And he achieved that goal. And then he set a goal to earn $70 a week. And then he set a goal to earn $100 a week. And Ben continued to raise his own standards on the accomplishment of his goals. One of Ben Feldman's secrets to becoming the world's greatest life insurance salesperson ever was he was constantly dissatisfied. And from that dissatisfaction, it created motivation in him. You see, I believe that the only motivation that exists in the world is self-motivation. I don't believe through this audio program that I can motivate you. I do believe that I can inspire you and I can share proper goal-setting techniques, but the only person who can motivate you is you. I'd like you to consider, why must you become a goal-setting master? What will it cost you if you don't become a goal-setting master? What would it mean to you in your life if you did become a goal-setting master? Ben continued to raise his goals, and he set a goal to do $1 million in life insurance sales. And at that time, he thought it was unrealistic. It was incredible. How could I possibly do $1 million in 1 year? But he set the goal anyway. And he achieved it. At the height of Ben's career, he did $100 million in insurance sales. Over the course of Ben's career, he averaged $25 million a year for 40 years. He did nearly $1 billion in life insurance sales. And for his generation, it was unheard of to produce those types of sales records. Ben Feldman was a goal setter. Goal setting allowed Ben Feldman to become the greatest life insurance salesperson in the world today. Jim Carrey used goal setting to become the highest paid comedian in the world today. Sylvester Stallone used goal setting to become one of the highest paid actors in the world today. Michael Johnson used goal setting to win the Olympic gold in the 200-meter sprint and the 400-meter sprint, and to also set world records in both of those races. Andrew Carnegie set a goal to earn a fortune in the first half of his life and then spend the second half of his life giving his fortune away. Andrew Carnegie started off as a day laborer, earning a mere 28 cents a day. And at the end of Andrew Carnegie's life, he had given away over $465 million to the American library system. Andrew Carnegie had a goal. Let me ask you a question. If Andrew Carnegie had not set the goal to give away his fortune over the second half of his life, do you believe he would have ever given away that $465 million to the American library system? Obviously, he wouldn't have. Goals direct our focus. Goals direct our focus. You get what it is that you focus on. I believe that goal setting is one of the most important skills that you could ever master in your life. Here are just a few of the many benefits of goal setting. You can make more money, better relationships, improve your health, and truly achieve your dreams. How do you master goal setting? Let me share with you how my first step towards becoming a goal setting master. It all started with a decision. You see, one way to access personal power is to make a decision about how your life is going to be different. Make a decision in this moment to become a goal-setting master. I have listened to thousands upon thousands of hours of audio tapes and audio CDs over the last 10 years. And some of them have been quite good, and some of them have been not so good. But what I want you to do today is I want you to make a decision to take this information and take action. Listen to the program all the way through 7 times. Take the ideas and immediately implement these ideas into your life, because these ideas will work for you if you're willing to work the ideas. When I made a decision to become a master of goal setting, I began to look for all of the information that I could find in the world on goal setting. And interestingly enough, there's very little information out there. I found a video that Zig Ziglar did, one of the only videos I've ever come across that talks about goal setting principles. Gary Blair is one of the experts in the world on goal setting. He has a website I'd really encourage you to go to, thegoalsguy.com, www.goalsguy.com. Tony Robbins has some information on goal setting. Brian Tracy does. Napoleon Hill, author of Think and Grow Rich, has some information on goal setting. What I mostly found was a 10 or 12 chapter book where one chapter was dedicated to goal setting. I began the journey of becoming a goal setting master back in 1992. I had just turned 22 years old. At that time, I was a cook at McDonald's. I had just completed my 5th year of community college at Sierra College in Rocklin, California, just above Sacramento. At that time in my life, I had no goals, and my life was headed nowhere. And then I began to set goals. And one of my first goals was I was going to go work for Tony Robbins. And when I worked at McDonald's, I shared with my wife, I said, honey, I'm going to go someday work for Tony Robbins. And my wife began to laugh like, Eric, you work at McDonald's. What could you possibly do for Tony? And I ended up going to work for Tony. I worked for Anthony Robbins for 3 years. After I left Tony's organization, Tony hired me back to train his outside sales force, and I had that training contract for 2 years. If I had never set the goal to go and work for Tony, I never would have worked for him. Goal setting works. Here's the structure of the program. I'm going to be sharing with you benefits of goal setting. Then I'm going to share with you the reasons why people don't set goals. Then we're going to talk about different types of goals that you can set. And then step by step, how to set goals. And then we're going to go through an actual goal-setting workshop, and I will coach you right through this program. You'll sit down at your desk, or you'll sit down at your bed, or wherever, at your office, wherever you enjoy writing goals, and I will take you step by step through the process of how I set goals. Now, I'd like to start off and share a few ideas with you about goal setting. The first idea is that there are no rules to goal setting. Now, I just completed sharing with you that I'm going to teach you a step-by-step process of how to set goals. Now I'm telling you that there are no rules to goal setting. The rules to goal setting have all been invented by man. I've looked at many different goal setting processes, and then from that, I invented my own, and I'm going to teach you that goal setting process in this program. I believe it's the most powerful goal setting process that exists on the planet today. So there are no goal setting rules. You can set a goal without an accomplishment date. In my system, I will ask you to write down an accomplishment date. And virtually every program out there always says, create a date for when you want to accomplish the goal. But what I'll also add to you is you don't have to have an accomplishment date. When I set a goal to go and work for Anthony Robbins, I didn't have an accomplishment date. Yet it still came true. The next idea, you don't have to have an action plan. My process and all the other processes out there tell you you need an action plan of how you're going to do it. And I do believe an action plan is good. And I believe it will help you manifest the goal, but you don't need an action plan. You can set unrealistic goals. All the experts say, make sure that your goals are realistic. Well, I would question, what is realistic? Was it realistic for Bill Gates to set a goal to become the wealthiest man in the world? At that time, I don't know if it was realistic. Was it realistic for Jim Carrey when he was a broke, starving comedian living in his van to set a goal to be paid $10 million for one film? Was that realistic? I'll tell you what was realistic. When he was given a check for $10 million and he cashed it for one film, that $10 million is sitting in his bank account, and it's very real. So you can set quote-unquote unrealistic goals. There's no such thing as too many goals. I have people say, Eric, I have 18 goals. Is that too many? There's no such thing as too many goals. Yes, I do believe that certain goals require more focus than others. But see, goal setting is just simply goal setting. It's just identifying and writing certain accomplishments that you'd like to achieve during your lifetime. You can set a goal that you do not believe that you can achieve. You could set a goal to become the president of the United States. And if you ask yourself, do I believe I could actually do that? You might not believe that you could do it, but you still could set that goal. You can develop your own ideas about goal setting and how to achieve them, just as I have. This program is all of the information that I've learned, and then me thinking about my own unique original ideas, and then putting them together into this program. I want you to consider this quote. This is one of my favorite all-time quotes. I have read thousands upon thousands of quotes. This one quote, I believe, is one of the most powerful quotes in the world today. It's a quote from my good friend Gary Ryan Blair, and he says this: success has more to do with goal choices than abilities. Success has more to do with goal choices than abilities. Here's what that quote means to me. It means that if there's someone that's more successful than you, if there's someone that has more ability than you, somebody who has more talent, but you think bigger than they do, you have a goal larger than their goal. Success has more to do with goal choices than abilities. Consider this. Muggsy Bogues had a long, successful career in the National Basketball Association. Muggsy Bogues stands 5 feet 3 inches. Muggsy Bogues is not as talented as a lot of players that are out there, yet he made it to the NBA. He made millions and millions and millions of dollars as a point guard in the NBA. And he had a goal to make it to the NBA. And there were other players that perhaps were far more talented than him, yet they did not make it to the NBA. Success has more to do with goal choices than abilities. Here are some of the main benefits of having written goals. The first benefit is that when you have a written goal, you can create a written plan. Did you know that Oprah Winfrey ran a marathon? When I read that in one of her books, that blew me away. That was incredible. And she wrote it down that she was going to run a marathon. And then she created a written action plan of step by step. What are all the things that she needed to do in order to prepare to successfully run a marathon? And she did it. The next benefit of goal setting is one of the 5 most powerful ideas on this entire program. When you have a written goal, others can help you plan. When you have a written goal, others can help you plan. And this is commonly referred to as the Mastermind Principle. As I stated earlier, 3% of the population has written goals. 1% have written goals with a written action plan. 1 out of 10,000 people actually mastermind. And masterminding allows you to leverage the brain power of others. The mastermind principle is this. If you and let's say 4 other people get together, and so it's you plus 4, so it's a total of 5 people. As you're brainstorming, a 6th imaginary mind is created from that brainstorming session that makes each of your 5 minds more intelligent. And as a group, collectively, you're able to generate ideas that you would never be able to generate on your own. Let's say you share an idea, and then your friend shares an idea on the idea you shared. And then your other friend, that triggers an idea in them. And all of a sudden, you start stacking idea on top of idea, on top of idea, on top of idea, on top of idea. And those ideas never would have been generated if the mastermind section had never been put together. So what you can do is organize a mastermind group. Find some like-minded people. Bring them together. Share with them your goal. Perhaps it's your manager at your company. Maybe it's your family. Organize a small group of people. Let them know what your goal is and ask them, what are the steps that I could take to achieve my goal? And a great example of this is if you wanted to gain or lose weight. You might have a mastermind section with the nutritionist. And you might sit down with that nutritionist and share with the nutritionist, here's my goal. I want my body fat to be this. I want to lose this much weight. I want to have this much energy. Help me put together a step-by-step action plan. Now think about this. Could the nutritionist help you put together a more powerful plan food-wise than you could on your own? No question about it. But see, if you haven't clearly identified the goal, you would never have anything to talk to the nutritionist about. You clearly define the goal, you go to the nutritionist. Now, you go down to the gym, you hire a gym coach. Okay, I want my body to look like this. I want to lose this amount of weight. I want to have this amount of energy. Can you help me put together a step-by-step plan? And then your gym coach helps you do that. Now I want you to imagine that you have your nutritionist plan, you have the plan from your gym instructor, and you're willing to do your part. You're willing to execute the action portion of the plan. How quickly would you accomplish your goals? Do you see how you would accomplish it much faster than if you attempted to achieve this goal on your own? That's the power of the Mastermind Principle. And one of my mastermind partners, I believe, is the top sales mind in the world today, Dr. Donald Moines. He's one of my business partners and the author of Unlimited Selling Power. Success Magazine said Unlimited Selling Power was one of the 10 best books ever written on the subject of professional selling. Now, Dr. Moines has become independently wealthy as a sales trainer, and he's been in business for years. He's been in business far longer than I have been in business. He's developed wisdom around being a business professional, around the training industry. And oftentimes, I'll talk with him on the phone or I'll meet with him face to face, and I'll share with him what my goals are. And I'll ask him for his ideas and his feedback. That is the Mastermind Principle. Napoleon Hill coined the phrase, the mastermind, in Think and Grow Rich. And here's Napoleon Hill's definition. Coordination of knowledge and effort in a spirit of harmony between 2 or more people for the attainment of a definite purpose. Now, knowing that only 1 out of 10,000 people mastermind, let me share with you a quote from Jack Canfield. And Jack Canfield and Mark Victor Hansen are the mastermind behind the Chicken Soup for the Soul books. They're currently at 88 million copies and counting. And they have a mastermind alliance. Jack Canfield, when he was talking about mastermind, he described it as the secret of the wealthy. When Napoleon Hill studied 500 of the wealthiest people in the world, he found that Harvey Firestone, Thomas Edison, Henry Ford, three of the most brilliant minds in the world today, would get together sometimes for a week at a time, and they would have these mastermind sessions. And this is one of the ways that they were able to produce the amazing results that they produced. When putting together a mastermind group, bring in the most talented people that you possibly can and leverage the brain power of those individuals to help you achieve your goals and your dreams. Mark Victor Hansen and Robert Allen recently came out with a book called The 1 Minute Millionaire. And they set a goal to pre-sell 1 million copies of that book. That had never been accomplished in publishing history. The even-numbered pages of the book were fiction. The odd-numbered pages of the book were nonfiction. Their goal was the day that the book was released, they would have pre-sold 1 million copies. And at the same moment, they would be on the bestseller list for fiction books and the bestseller list for nonfiction simultaneously, which had never been done in the history of book publishing. So they set the goal, but they didn't just set the goal. They called a mastermind session. They brought in some of the top book marketers and marketing experts in the world today, and they had a mastermind session, an all-day session, and they audio taped that session. I had the privilege of purchasing those audio tapes and listening to that mastermind session, and it was powerful. If you're interested in listening to those audio tapes or CDs, go to markvictorhansen.com and you can order those. It's called Mastermind Your Way to Millions. Now, some of the ideas that were generated in that mastermind session, Mark Victor Hansen and Robert Allen never would have thought of those ideas on their own. Now, I have a question for you. Do you believe that masterminding is a good idea for you? Probably you do. When will you implement it? You see, it's not just about listening and hearing, okay, Eric, that's a good idea. It's about taking action. Who will be in your mastermind group? Which goals will you mastermind? When is your first mastermind session? Focus on completion versus perfection. Declare a date. Okay, 2 weeks from Tuesday, we're having the first mastermind session over at your house. And then you extend the invitations out. You don't have to worry about it being perfect. Share ideas about this is what I'm trying to accomplish. What strategies and ideas do you have to help me accomplish this goal? The third benefit of a written goal is that you can visualize a goal. Visualization is simply picturing in your mind what it is that you want. Our mind thinks in pictures. Think of a car. You probably didn't think of the letters C-A-R, did you? No, you thought of a car. Maybe you thought of the car that you currently have. Maybe you thought of your first car. Maybe you thought of your favorite car. But you thought of a picture, didn't you? Visualization is picturing in your mind what it is that you want. And you can picture a goal. I want you to imagine your ideal car. What is your favorite car? The next car that I want to have is a 7 Series BMW. I've always wanted to have a 7 Series BMW. So I picture that car in my mind, and I can see the car that I will have in the near future. That's visualization. And you hear about Olympic athletes. They visualize the race that they're in. And why visualization is so important, and never forget this, is the subconscious mind does not know the difference between a real event and an imagined event. The subconscious mind does not know the difference between a real event and an imagined event. And so Olympic athletes and Michael Jordan and Tiger Woods and the top athletes in the world today will picture making the winning shot, making that touchdown at the end of the game, hitting that perfect golf stroke. And they picture it in their mind over and over and over again. And one of my favorite all-time stories is a story about visualization. It's an incredible story. And I want to share the story with you to illustrate the power of visualization. And the story is about Billy Mills. And Billy Mills became famous because he won an Olympic gold medal in the 1964 Olympics for the 10,000 meter. The 10,000 meter is 25 laps around a 400 meter track. And Billy Mills qualified for the Olympics. He wasn't predicted to win a medal, but he did qualify, so he was able to go to Tokyo. And he competed in that race, and he made it to the gold medal race. And in that race, he was not even predicted to win a bronze, silver, or let alone a gold. and he was running in the race, and he came to that final lap. And while he was running in the race, he was visualizing himself running through the finish line with his hands in the air, breaking the tape, and coming in first. So he's running around that lap, and he comes around the first turn, and then the second turn, and then he hits that little straightaway, and then the third turn, and he's coming down the final backstretch. And while he's running, he continues to visualize himself running through the finish line with his hands in the air, breaking the tape, and becoming the gold medal winner. Except that there was one slight problem. While Billy Mills was running, he was in third place on the final stretch. And then all of a sudden, his body took over. He gets this kick out of nowhere, and he blows by the other two runners. He breaks the tape with his hands in the air, and he's able to win the 10,000 meter in Tokyo and live the rest of his life an Olympic champion. And I listened to an interview that Billy Mills did. And they asked him, they said, how did you get that kick out of nowhere? I mean, it was incredible. And by the way, you can go and do a search on the internet and type in Billy Mills, and you can download video footage of that last lap. And it is absolutely incredible to watch that last lap. And they asked him, they said, how are you able to do it? How did you blow by those other two runners? He said, well, every night before I went to bed, for the previous 4 years before that race, I visualized that last lap in vivid detail. I saw myself running, and at the very end, putting my hands in the air and winning the race. Billy Mills had rehearsed that event in his imagination, in his subconscious, over 1,000 times. His subconscious mind had the opportunity to experience that event over 1,000 times prior to actually running that race. Let me ask you a question. Do you think that made a difference in Billy Mills winning that race? You bet it did. It made all the difference in the world. And sometimes in the pursuit of goals, it's about a slight edge. In horse racing, they have the photo finish. Some horse races are so close, they literally, the naked eye can't see who the winner is. And sometimes in business, and sometimes in life, sometimes in achieving our goals, it comes down to a slight edge. Just a little thing. Now, what's fascinating about Billy Mills winning that race, if you're a runner and you're racing in the Olympics, in a race like the 10,000 meter, and you set a personal record in track, they call it your PR time. If you PR'd by 2 or 3 seconds, you ran the race 2 or 3 seconds faster in the gold medal race of the Olympics, that would be incredible. I mean, imagine that. You're a runner, and you run the race 2 to 3 seconds faster than you've ever run it in your entire life. Billy Mills PR'd in that race by 46 seconds. Absolutely unheard of. Visualization works. Visualization can give you that slight edge. I had a gentleman come to one of my seminars recently, and his name is Paul. And Paul has been wanting to lose weight for many years. And he came to my seminar, and my seminar was a sales seminar. It wasn't a seminar about diet, nutrition, and weight loss. But in the seminar, he made a decision. Enough is enough is enough. I make a decision to lose weight. It's been about 6 months now, and Paul has lost 30 pounds. I'm very proud of the results that he's been able to produce. And I asked him, I said, Paul, I'm just curious, how long have you wanted to lose weight? Honestly, Eric, 14 years. He'd been wanting to lose weight for 14 years. He came to one of my programs, and all of a sudden, voila, he lost 30 pounds. Here's what it came down to. It came down to a decision. Sometimes achieving your goals comes down to you making a decision about how your life is going to be different.